It is good to come together for the purpose of co-creating. Do you agree? Yes. You're knowing what you're wanting. An evolving thing, yes. You are enjoying the expansion of your own desire. You're coming to realize that you've come forth into this leading edge time-space reality for the purpose of experiencing the variety which will cause that expansion, that joyful expansion. You think that you came with plans that now it is your responsibility to realize? Or do you think that you came as the maker of the plans? We want you to begin to see it that way. We want you to realize that you are source energy in this physical body. And as you begin to remember that you are source energy in a physical body, and as you begin to reach for that realignment now that you are here in this physical body, now you'll begin to live life in the way you intended as you came forth into this physical body. I want to explain that to you in a little fuller fashion, because once you get the sense of who you are, then you can get about doing what you came to do. And we want you to realize that what you came to do was not something that was pre-described by someone else, or even pre-described by yourself at another level. You came forth for the leading edge experience of attracting new information to help you make new decisions. You are very old, very clear, very wise, very source beings. And you know from that broader vantage point that you are eternal, that there will be no cessation to that which you are. And so you continue to approach life from that eternal stance, from that understanding that you'll never get it done and that you cannot get it wrong, but that it is extremely exhilarating to live life. From your broader vantage point, we're talking about the non-physical part of you, the inner being part of you, or the soul part of you, or the God force part of you. You know that there is no ending to that which you are. And you also know, because there is no ending, in other words, that's why the name eternal fits so well. You cannot be finished and be eternal at the same time. Eternal means continuing and expanding. So from that broader non-physical perspective, you not only know that you are eternal, but you joyously continue to project yourself into situations where new desires can be born. You so understand the eternal nature of all that is. So as you made the decision to come forth from non-physical into this physical body, you knew that there would be variety, contrast, a lot to choose from, and you knew that from your vantage point of self, which everyone has, that you would come to clear conclusions of that which would be of the greatest benefit to self. You knew that it would not be possible for you to stand in the middle of any situation and not come to a clear understanding that I don't like this and that I would prefer this and that this feels better to me than this. In other words, you just cannot stop deciphering at all levels of your being. And you knew before you came into this physical body that when such a determination was born within you, or that a desire was born within you, or a preference was born within you, you knew and rejoiced in the idea that the universe would then expand because of that experience and that new desire. You also knew that the larger part of you would become that new idea. Now, this is something that we do not think that many of our physical friends, even leading edge friends like you, fully understand. Most humans don't get it, that you were our source energy before you came into this physical body, and that now that you are in this physical body, your environment is calling more desire from you. And that when that happens, source immediately becomes the vibrational essence of that new idea. In other words, when you don't have enough money and you want more money, the non-physical part of you becomes the liver, beer, receiver of that more money. It goes to what we lovingly call your vibrational escrow, where the source energy part of you abides and bees and calls you to it. We've written a book that has the best title, we believe, of any book ever written because it speaks to the eternal nature of your being. And the book title is Ask and It Is Given. And now we would like to expand that book title in an even more exaggerated, precise form to say, not only when you ask is it given, but when the physical part of you asks for something, the non-physical part of you becomes it. Not only is it given, the larger part of you already is it, begins offering the vibration of it, and begins in that moment, or better said, continues to call you to the vibrational escrow that you have been creating even before you got here in this physical body, that just has expanded as a result of what you have just lived here in this physical body. The expanded version of you is always calling you. And when you go, or when you point in the direction of going, you feel good. When you really go with that expanded version, you feel passion. You feel exhilaration. You feel enthusiasm for life. When you turn in opposition to that, when you keep beating the drum of where you are or where you've been, when you keep justifying why you want to be over there by pointing out that you're over here, as you're pointed in opposition to that, you don't feel so good. In other words, when you go with that flow, that is source energy and that is the expanded version of you, you really, really feel it. Can you imagine going down to the river's edge, a very fast-moving river, with your canoe or rowboat or raft, and as you put your boat into the water with your oars in it, you deliberately turn it upstream and begin paddling. Now, whether you believe it or not, we have to tell you that most humans do exactly that. You get in the stream, you point upstream, and you start paddling very hard against the current, trying to make headway against the current. And we say to you, why not turn your boat with the current? And humans say, in a variety of different explanations, but Abraham, that just seems lazy. And we say, but how long can you keep this up? And you say, I don't know, I'm still working on it. And then we say, but just let go of the oars and let the current just carry you. And then you say, everyone I know is paddling upstream. It's just what we do. Our trophies and monuments are given to those who learn to paddle best against the current. And we say, but how long can you keep that up? And you say, I don't know, I'm still working on it. I'll let you know. But for now, I've developed some really good muscles and some really good techniques. And I use others who are suffering equally as measurement to know how well I'm doing. And I have to tell you, I'm holding my own. It's hard. It's hard. It's hard, Abraham. But I know that it is worth it. It's worth it because all of the trophies and all of the rewards are offered for those who struggle. Those who turn and go with the flow, they are not given any rewards. They are just seen as lazy, ne'er-do-wells. And I have heard that there are many more rewards after I die. So I'm willing to endure the discomfort. And we say, but how long can you keep that up? And we want to say to you, you may keep it up all of the days of this life, but when you croak, you no longer keep it up. When you croak, you go with the flow. And in other words, that flow is so powerful. As Jerry and Esther are traveling about, they are using navigational systems. You may be too. They have 4 different ones in 4 different vehicles now. Garmin is their new all-time favorite. But all of them are based upon the same principle of 2 points of relativity. The system knows where you are, and you program in where you want to go, and then it designs a route and gives it to you verbally and visually to get you from where you are to where you want to be. Magellan never ever says to them, what in the world are you doing there? Or, you've been there far too long, now I'm not going to tell you. Or, you missed your window. The route was planned for you and you didn't take it, and now it's just too late. You're stuck there forever. Magellan never says to them, you are in an unworthy place. See if you can't move to a more worthy place, and then we'll talk to you. In other words, it's just straightforward. Where am I in relationship to where I want to be? And the system just gives new information. Constant new information. You have a guidance system within you that operates on the same principle of 2 points of vibrational relativity. But in order to understand your guidance system, first you must understand that you are non-physical energy eternally. And that part of you is the strongest vibrational aspect of you, far greater than who you are in this physical body. That's that old, wise culmination of all that you have become. That's God force. That's source energy. And that's the non-physical part of you, and it is pulsing constantly with a signal that is undeniable. Now, the other signal is you here in your physical body. An extension of that non-physical energy, a portion of that consciousness is here in this physical body. And those 2 points of vibrations, the physical you and the non-physical you, are vibrationally playing off of one another constantly. When you find a thought or speak a word that is a vibrational match to who you really are really going with the flow, and you can feel the flow. It feels like love. It feels like appreciation. It feels like joy. It feels like alignment with that which is source, and it is. But when you find hate or rage, or those feelings of fear or depression that feel like disempowerment, or not so bad feeling ones like frustration and overwhelmment, any of those emotions that feel what you describe as negative emotions, every single time are indicating to you that whatever it is you're focused upon right now, that you're beating the drum of, that you've got a vibration within you activated about, has got you running cross current of your stream. In other words, your stream is calling you this way and you're trying to go this way, and you're feeling the tug of war. That's what negative emotion is. So positive emotion is going with the flow, negative emotion is going against the flow. So then our physical friends say, oh, well, if that's true, Abraham, then it would behoove me to stay up here in these high-flying, good-feeling emotions. I should be in love and appreciation all the time. And we say, it's nicer when you're there. But we don't want to say you should be there all the time, because you came deliberately into this physical environment to explore contrast in order to give birth to new desires. And when you're knowing what you don't want, that's when you're most clearly knowing what you do want. But while you're knowing what you don't want, you're not feeling that good. So what we really want you to get from this is not that we are asking you to work your way up this emotional scale where you are abiding only in joy and appreciation, although we want that for you. That feels best of all to you. What we really are asking of you is that you just have a sense of whether you're pointed against the current or with the flow, against the flow or with the flow. Sometimes as we talk about this emotional guidance scale, and we talk about how on the end that feels lovely, appreciation and love and joy and passion, there is your perspective or your perception of utter empowerment. On the other end of the scale that feels so awful, where fear and depression are the dominant vibrations all the way to the end, that is your perspective or your perception of complete disempowerment. And we want you to realize that there is something in between. In other words, many more words than we could offer if we spoke all day about the various places that you might be hanging out temporarily or even longer along this emotional scale. While of course it feels better to feel the best and it feels terrible to feel the worst, what we want you to hear from us today is that since this stream is going, in the moment that you just stop pushing this way, just let go of your oars. That's all you have to do. The stream will turn you and begin to carry you. And that is the moment of relief. And that moment of relief is all you're looking for. You could be close to appreciation and turn into relief. You could be in frustration, overwhelmment, and turn and find relief. You could be in anger or revenge and turn and find relief. You could be in absolute fear or despair and turn and find relief. And it's that relief factor we want you to find, because the stream, once you get turned, will take care of everything else. From your point of view, no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, no matter who you're interacting with, if you will understand that where you stand right now, you really only have two choices: worse or better. Worse or better. Relief or not relief.